Welcome to the Art of Mathematics. So today I'll talk about the general idea on solving equations. So you get expressions and you get equations. So expression does not have an equal sign, like 5 plus 2 is an expression. But 5 plus 2 equals 7 is an equation because it has an equal sign in. So in this equation, 5 plus 2 does equal 7. But if we maybe have like 5 plus 2 is equal to 8, this will be an equation that is not valid because 5 plus 2 does not equal 8. So if we think about an equation, we think about like 5x plus 6 is equal to 7. So we have to find some number multiplied by 5 plus 6, which gives us 7, so that the left-hand side will equal the right-hand side. So that's the general idea to solve to an equation, is the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. So 5x plus 6 is equal to 7. And if we want to get the solution of the equation, we must get a number such that if you multiply it by 5 and add 6, then you get the number 7. So like if we asked to solve x squared plus 2x plus 1, so this is an expression, so we can't solve it. You can only solve an equation. So now what I'll do, generally when you have quadratic equations, they'll ask you to solve this. Then you say, okay, so therefore solve x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Because we don't know what it's equal to. So generally, if you have an x squared, a quadratic equation, then you'll just set it equal to 0. Because if they ask me solve 5x plus 6, then my first question would be, is 5x plus 6 is equal to what? So that's why with quadratic equations, it's usually just set it equal to 0. But I think also what they can ask is, they can say set the expression x squared plus 2x plus 1 equal to minus 2, and then solve the equation. So then what you'll do is you'll say x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to minus 2, and therefore if you add 2 on the right hand side and add 2 on the left hand side, then you get x squared plus 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, and then you solve it. I did a video on this, I'll put it in the cards above. So with equations, the goal of the equation is to get the variable on the one side. So it doesn't have to be x, it can be 5y plus 6 is equal to 7. And then you have to solve for y. So our goal is to get the variable on the one side. So we get, in this first one, we get x equal to some number, or in the case where it's y, we get y equal to some number. So you can think of an equation as a scale. You can do anything on the left-hand side, but then you have to do it also on the right-hand side. Or you can do anything on the right-hand side, but then you also have to do it on the left-hand side to get the variable on its own, with no number in front of it, or like x divided by 5 on that side. It has to be x equal to. So now if we look at this equation here, 5x plus 6 is equal to 7. So now we can first get rid of the 6. So then we have one term on the left-hand side. Then it's easier to work with than when you have two terms on the left-hand side. So to get rid of the 6 up here, we can just subtract 6 on the left-hand side. Because 6 minus 6 is 0, then we're just left with 5x. But because we subtracted 6 on the left-hand side, we also have to subtract 6 on the right-hand side. So then we can say 5x plus 6 minus 6 is equal to 7 minus 6. and then what we're left with is 5x is equal to 1. So now we have to get x equal to some number, not 5x equal to some number. So to get rid of that 5, we can actually divide by 5, because 5 divided by 5 is just 1, and 1x is equal to x. So we can divide by 5 on the left-hand side, but because we divided by 5 on the left-hand side, we also have to divide by 5 on the right-hand side. So then what we're left with is 5x divided by 5, which is x, and then we're left with 1 divided by 5 on the right-hand side. So now we can test our answer, because we say x is equal to a fifth, and then now we have to say, does 5 times a fifth plus 6 equal 7? So now we plug in the 1/5, so we say 5 times 1/5 plus 6 is equal to 5 over 5, because it's 5 times a fifth, plus 6. Now 5 over 5 is just 1. You can say any number divided by itself is 1. So then we're left with 1 plus 6, and 1 plus 6 is equal to 7. So the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side, and we've solved this equation. So the general thing that you have to think about if you have to solve an equation is first to get the x on the one side, or the y or the variable on the one side, and a number on the other side. But what you also can have, generally it will be a number on the other side, but you can also have let's say you have x, sorry that the text is so small, you can have xy is equal to z. Now then they ask you to make x the subject. So they ask you x equal to something. So now we have to say, we have to get the x alone. So to get the x alone on the left-hand side, we have to divide by y, because then the y's can cancel out. But then, if we divide by y on the left-hand side, we have to divide by y on the right-hand side. So then we have x, y, let me just quickly so we have xy divided by y is equal to z divided by y. So now our y's cancel out, and we're left with x is equal to z divided by y. So now you've made x the subject, so now you have x is equal to z divided by y. So it doesn't only have to be a number, but usually it will be a number. So you'll have x equal to 2 or y equal to 4. But they can also ask you with this, okay, z is already the subject because we have z is equal to xy. But they can also ask you make y the subject. So now to get y alone, you have to divide by x. So then we say xy divided by x is equal to z divided by x. So now you have the x cancel out, so you have y is equal to z divided by x. So you must always think about to make the variable that they ask to make the subject on the one side and everything else on the other side. Then you're done with what they asked for. So to solve the equation is to get the variable on the one side and then the number on the other side. Because you can also, like, it doesn't have to be on the left side. It can also be like 1 divided by 5 is equal to x. That's also fine, but it is nicer to have it on the left-hand side. So you just have to get the variable on the one side and the number on the other side. And remember, what you do on the one side, you have to do it on the other side to keep the scale balanced. Because if you also think about it, if I say 5y plus 6 is equal to 7, and now I add 6 on the other side, so I say 5y plus 6, and I add another 6 is equal to 7. Well, now I just added a 6 on the left hand side. So the original equation was 5y plus 6 is equal to 7. But now I added 6 on the left hand side, so these two are not the same. 5y plus 6 equals 7. Now 5y plus 6 will not equal 7 anymore. Well, the same y value. So the value that you get for the first equation won't be the same. So the y you get, let's call it y1 in this equation and y2 in this equation. So y1 will not be equal to y2 because you changed the equation. You added 6 on the left hand side, but you did not do it also on the right hand side. If you have this equation here, 5y1 plus 6 is equal to 7. And if you take the equation and just add 6 on the one side, on the left side, then we have, I'm just going to call it y2 now, 5y2 plus 6 is equal to 7. So now if you solve these two equations, if you get y1 here, then 5y1 plus 6 will not equal 7. Because you added 6 on the one side, but you did not add it on the right hand side. So the solution that you get for the first equation will not be the solution that you get for the second equation, because you changed the balance of the scale, you changed the equation completely. So that's why if you do something on the left hand side, you also have to do it on the right hand side. So if we solve this equation, 5y2 plus 6 is equal to 7, and if you plug it into this first equation, then 5y2 plus 6 will not equal 7. Because y2 will solve this equation, so 5y2 plus 6 will equal 7, but 5y2 plus 6 will not equal 7. And similarly, so the same, if 5y1 plus 6 is equal to 7, and we solve it, then 5y1 plus 6 is equal to 7. But 5y1 plus 6 will not equal to 7. Because we added the 6 on the one side, we changed the equation completely. And thank you guys for watching. And please consider subscribing. And I'll see you next time. So just another note here. So if we're solving an equation, we're asking 5x plus 6 is equal to 7. So we're asking what number times by itself plus 6 gives us 7. So we solved it here and got x is equal to a fifth. So but now if you look at it here, so the only number that satisfies this equation is x equal to a fifth. Because if you look now, let's say we make x equal to 5. Then x is equal to 5, so it's 5 times 5 plus 6, which is equal to 25 plus 6, which is equal to 31, which is not equal to 7. So we can see, but now we can also try x. Let's say we have x equal to 2. So we have 5 times 2 plus 6. So we have 5 times 2 is 10 plus 6 is equal to 16. which is not equal to 7. So the only number that satisfies 5x plus 6 equal to 7 is x equal to a fifth. And that's why we're trying to get x on the one side and the number on the other side, because not every number, if you plug it into x, will give us 7, as you see here.